Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. Today we're going to be exploring something pretty fascinating, the Book of Revelation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, before you think we're going down the traditional route,
hmm
we're actually taking a completely different approach.
Okay.
We're diving into a YouTube video by William Donahue,
Okay.
who presents a really unique perspective on it. He believes that the Bible, especially Revelation,
Right.
is full of symbolism,
Yeah,
and he connects these symbols to ancient mystical traditions.
that's right. And it's these unexpected connections that make Donahue's interpretation so intriguing.
So get this. He suggests that to really understand Revelation, we need to look at things like chakras,
Wow.
kundalini energy, and even the human body.
Exactly. One of the most striking examples is his claim that the earliest churches were designed based on the human body.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
He says the altar represents the head,
Okay.
the nave,
Mm-hmm.
which, fun fact, comes from the root word navel,
Mm-hmm.
symbolizes the abdomen. And, well, let's just say the steeple has a rather symbolic interpretation as well.
It's definitely a bold claim, and it makes you rethink traditional church architecture, you know?
It does. It really does.
It raises the question, did the people who built these churches intentionally design them this way to reflect a deeper connection between the physical and the spiritual?
It definitely makes you look at those old cathedrals with a fresh perspective,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it does.
But Donahue doesn't stop there. He goes even further, linking the 7 churches mentioned in Revelation to the 7 chakras, suggesting they represent a journey of spiritual awakening.
Yes, and he uses specific examples from the Book of Revelation to support this idea. For instance, he connects the deeds of the Nicolaitans, mentioned in the letter to the church in Ephesus, which he interprets as excessive indulgence to the Muladhara chakra.
Hmm.
This chakra, also known as the root chakra, is associated with our basic needs and desires.
So he's basically saying that each church in Revelation corresponds to a different chakra and the challenges we face at that energy center.
That's a great way to put it.
It's like a roadmap for spiritual growth.
It is now, for those unfamiliar with chakras, they are energy centers located along the spine.
Okay.
In various spiritual traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism,
Mm-hmm.
they're thought to influence our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being.
So if we follow Donahue's interpretation, moving through the 7 churches in Revelation is like activating and balancing these chakras.
That's how he sees it. And his connections don't stop there. He also links the tree of life,
Wow.
mentioned in the book of Genesis, to the right hemisphere of the brain and the pineal gland.
Well, hold on. That's quite a jump. How does he even make that connection?
Donahue is big on symbolic interpretation. He uses the story of Zacchaeus climbing a sycamore tree to see Jesus as an example.
Right.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
He equates the sycamore tree to the tree of life and suggests that the act of climbing represents the pursuit of truth and the activation of the pineal gland.
So Zacchaeus' climb is like a symbolic journey towards higher consciousness.
Exactly. Donahue believes that by activating the pineal gland, we can tap into deeper spiritual insights and have profound experiences.
Now, this makes me wonder, from a scientific perspective, what do we actually know about the pineal gland? Does it really have that kind of spiritual significance?
Well, that's where things get a bit more complex. Scientifically, the pineal gland is a small gland in the brain that primarily produces melatonin, the hormone that regulates our sleep cycles.
Right.
While research on its role in consciousness is ongoing, there's no definitive evidence to support the mystical claims.
So it seems like Donahue is blending scientific knowledge with these ancient mystical interpretations.
Precisely, he sees the Bible as a code to be deciphered, and he believes you need both scientific and spiritual lenses to understand its deeper meaning.
And to add another layer to this, Donahue is also really interested in numerology, especially the significance of the number 9 in mystical traditions. He has some pretty thought-provoking interpretations of the numbers 666 and 144,000 as they appear in Revelation.
Oh, absolutely. For example, he links the 2 witnesses in Revelation,
Okay.
not to actual people, but to the Ida and Pingala energy channels, described in Yogic traditions.
Okay.
These channels are thought to represent the flow of vital energy throughout the body.
Hold on. So the 2 witnesses are energy channels, not people. That's a new one for me.
That's Donahue's take. And he even connects these energy channels to the 2 thieves crucified alongside Jesus.
Wow.
He sees a deeper esoteric meaning woven into the crucifixion story.
I have to admit, this is definitely not how I was taught about Revelation in Sunday school.
Right.
It's making me rethink everything I thought I knew.
And that's the beauty of exploring alternative perspectives. It challenges our assumptions and encourages us to critically examine the texts and traditions we hold dear.
Before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's touch on Donahue's view of Armageddon. He presents a very unconventional interpretation, seeing it not as a literal battle, but as a symbolic purging of negative thoughts and emotions.
That's right. He suggests that Armageddon isn't about physical destruction,
Right?
but about inner transformation. It's like a cleansing of the self that leads to spiritual liberation.
That's such a powerful image.
Yeah.
And it's completely different from the traditional Christian view of Armageddon
Right.
as this catastrophic end-of-the-world event.
Absolutely. Donahue encourages us to move beyond those literal interpretations and embrace the symbolic language of the Bible to uncover its hidden wisdom.
So if Armageddon isn't this literal fiery end, what is it really about, according to Donahue?
Well, he connects this idea of personal transformation to a larger shift in human consciousness. He believes we're moving towards a more enlightened and harmonious way of being.
So it's not about ignoring the problems in the world, but facing them from a place of inner peace and understanding.
Exactly. Donahue believes that by transforming ourselves, we can collectively create a better world, one free from the negativity and suffering that we see all around us.
It's definitely a message that resonates, especially now when there's so much conflict and division in the world.
It really does, and Donahue's perspective on Armageddon offers a sense of hope. It suggests that even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, there's a path towards healing and renewal.
He also spends a lot of time in the video emphasizing the importance of personal experience and direct knowing, rather than just accepting things on blind faith or dogma. He really encourages his viewers to question everything and discover their own truth.
Yes, and he's quite critical of organized religion. He argues that it often obscures the true message of the Bible and keeps people trapped in fear and dependence.
He even calls out some religious leaders, accusing them of taking advantage of people's faith for their own personal gain.
He doesn't hold back, and while his views might be controversial to some, they raise important questions about the role of religion in society and the need for genuine spiritual exploration.
He challenges listeners to activate their own inner light. He uses this analogy of turning on a light switch, suggesting that spiritual awakening is about tapping into a source of energy that's already within us.
It's a powerful metaphor. It highlights the idea that we each have the power to illuminate our own lives and create positive change both within ourselves and in the world around us.
Donahue uses really vivid language and imagery to get his points across. He often draws on personal anecdotes and experiences to make his message more relatable. For example, he tells this story about speaking on stage and noticing the lights were off. He uses it as a metaphor for the importance of being aware and present, even when we think we're already in the light.
It's a good reminder to stay vigilant on our spiritual journeys and not become complacent even when things seem to be going well.
He also talks about the importance of meditation as a way to access his inner light and develop spiritual awareness.
Right, he sees meditation as a key practice for unlocking our hidden potential and connecting with the divine source, however we might define that.
And he emphasizes that this spiritual potential is accessible to everyone, regardless of their religious beliefs or background.
Yes, he advocates for a more inclusive and universal approach to spirituality, one that transcends the boundaries of organized religion.
It's clear that Donahue is incredibly passionate about this message and genuinely believes that these ancient mystical teachings have the power to transform lives.
And while his interpretations might not align with traditional views, they offer a fresh and thought-provoking perspective on the Bible and the nature of spiritual awakening.
It's certainly been a deep dive into some pretty complex concepts.
Speaking of deep dives, Donahue also explores the symbolism of the fig tree in Revelation. He suggests it represents inner blossoming and spiritual growth. He argues that when Jesus spoke about the fig tree, he wasn't referring to a literal tree or even a specific country, but rather to an internal state of being.
So when the fig tree blooms, it means we've reached a certain level of spiritual maturity.
That's Donahue's interpretation. He sees it as a sign of awakening consciousness and the potential for a new era of peace and harmony.
He even ties this inner blossoming to the concept of Armageddon, suggesting that it's this transformation of consciousness that will ultimately bring an end to suffering and lead to a more enlightened age.
Yes, he believes that it's through individual and collective spiritual growth that we can overcome the challenges facing humanity and create a better future.
And he's not afraid to critique what he sees as the downsides of modern society, especially our focus on materialism and seeking external validation.
He encourages us to turn inward, to cultivate our inner world, and discover the true source of happiness and fulfillment.
He revisits the concept of the two witnesses from Revelation 2. He offers a really unique interpretation that links them to the Ida and Pingala energy channels in yogic traditions.
Right, he suggests that these energy channels, which represent the flow of vital energy throughout the body, are essential to spiritual awakening.
He even connects them to the two thieves crucified alongside Jesus, drawing a parallel between their suffering and the challenges we all face on our own spiritual journeys.
It's a powerful reminder that the path to enlightenment isn't always easy, but even in our struggles, we can find meaning and transformation.
Donahue's video is packed with this kind of symbolic language and metaphors. He clearly sees the Bible as a multi-layered text that requires deep contemplation and interpretation to unlock its hidden wisdom.
And he encourages viewers to actively engage with the text, to question, explore, and discover their own personal understanding of its meaning.
He reminds us that the Bible isn't meant to be taken literally,
Mm-hmm.
but rather as a guidebook for spiritual growth and self-discovery.
He invites us all to embark on our own journeys of exploration, to dive into the depths of our being and uncover that divine spark within.
Donahue's perspective is definitely unconventional, but it's also incredibly thought-provoking and inspiring.
It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to see the world through a different lens, and to embrace the possibility of a more enlightened and harmonious way of being.
It's a call to awaken to our true potential and to actively participate in creating a better future both for ourselves and for all beings.
And it's a reminder that the journey of spiritual awakening is an ongoing process, a lifelong adventure filled with challenges, insights, and ultimately profound transformation.
Wow, this deep dive has been quite a journey.
It has.
We've covered so much ground, from chakras and kundalini energy to the symbolism of church architecture and the fig tree.
Yeah, it's amazing how Donahue weaves together these seemingly disparate concepts to offer a completely new way of looking at the Book of Revelation.
He's certainly given us a lot to think about.
Yeah.
What really strikes me is his passion for these ancient mystical teachings. He truly believes they hold the key to unlocking human potential and creating a more harmonious world.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes his perspective so compelling. Even if you don't agree with all of his interpretations, you can't help but be inspired by his enthusiasm and his genuine desire to help people connect with their own inner wisdom.
It's a good reminder that there are many paths to spiritual understanding, and what resonates with one person might not resonate with another.
Yeah.
It's all about finding what works for you and embracing your own unique journey of self-discovery.
Exactly. Whether you're drawn to traditional interpretations of the Bible or you're more intrigued by these alternative perspectives, the important thing is to keep an open mind and explore different ways of understanding these ancient texts.
If any of our listeners are feeling inspired to delve deeper into Donahue's ideas, we highly recommend checking out his full YouTube video. We'll be sure to include a link in the show notes.
And for those of you seeking more guidance on your personal journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth, we encourage you to visit www.ultimatemasters.org coaching. They offer a variety of resources and support to help you connect with your inner potential.
And as always, be sure to check back daily for new episodes of The Deep Dive. We'll be exploring a wide range of fascinating topics, uncovering hidden knowledge, and diving deep into the mysteries of life.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep exploring. The most profound discoveries are often found within